All right, wait. I can explain. Nav came out and dropped a new project over the weekend called Reckless. Now, if you know my relationship and my history with Nav, you know that I've generally kind of looked at him as like a Speaker Knockers ripoff. I don't really feel like he's given that much as far as his vocal delivery or being that expressive as an artist. And unfortunately, I still feel the same way on this project. But there are a few highlights that I want to point out because I don't think the project is trash. I just think it's bad. I really like to make a distinction between trash and bad real quick. Bad to me is just something that was going for something that just failed in my opinion. Trash is something to me that just has zero value at all. So whenever I use the term trash on this channel, just know I think it has no value. And whenever I use the word bad, I just think although it can be enjoyable to some people, to me, I just don't find it to be. First off, I want to commend this album, despite the fact that I think it's bad. I want to commend it for having a little bit more direction than his previous works. I feel like his self-titled project was just him looking back on his life and saying that this is where he is right now. Perfect Timing was kind of a reiteration of the same thing. And like I said, on both of those projects, if you don't know who Speaker Knockers is, he came off like a ripoff of him in my opinion. And if you know my love for Speaker Knockers, you know I don't like people disrespecting dead like that. In any case, I love how emo music and the sad boy music has become like the new standard for hip-hop. This is a genre of music that was so detested earlier on because it was really uncool to display your emotions or internal struggles or mental agony on your track. So now that we have artists like Nav that are kind of continuing that wave after artists like maybe Kanye and The Weeknd have kind of pushed it forward, delivering this kind of dark thought through melody effect. I can see that's exactly where Nav is going with this project, and Nav's point on this project is basically to say that he's struggling internally, looking at the man that he used to be versus looking at the man that he is right now. Nav's aesthetic throughout most of this project is to deliver this emotionless, robotic kind of delivery that kind of emphasizes the point of the project of him feeling so empty. But unfortunately, that's my main issue with this project. I love how much more, like I said, direction this album has than Nav's previous work, but I don't feel like it's accompanied by a duality that is interesting. Nav's primary focus is to rap about materialistic things and worldly views that don't really have that much meaning to a person's overall depth, or they shouldn't. But Nav doesn't accompany that with an opposing perspective that kind of makes you empathize with the character that he used to be, because we never actually get him rapping from that perspective. Nav has never rapped from the perspective of someone who was struggling internally, but before he got to the money. And if he is, he's usually referencing it in the most basic of ways, not really talking about it in a way that makes me feel like the money was never his true objective. Now, I'm not gonna get on Nav for his lack of lyrics because there are a lot of corny bars on here, just like there were on his last two projects, but that's not really his focus. I really want to go to him for his production value, and a lot of this album has some pretty decent production. I would argue that this is, as far as the production is concerned, the most pleasing album Nav has really ever made. While it still carries that same moody, outer space, drifting off into nothingness kind of vibe that most of the R&B hip-hop scene is using nowadays, I still think it sounds or at least feels a little bit more fresh and new, especially on that track with Travis Scott. Oh my god. But that's really the only track that I enjoy from Travis to Travis. And I say Travis to Travis because I can't say from start to finish. Travis Scott makes it apparent just what he can do with a song that an artist who is on his level or should be near his level should be able to do. Travis Scott is another artist who's a little bit more robotic with his flow and less expressive, but at the same time has these effects and these studio effects that make him sound so grand and huge over the track. Like, he sounds like he's a dominant force on the track. Nav on the same track just sounds like a sound effect. And I guess maybe that's my issue with Nav, is that he comes across like an effect as opposed to a feeling. While I do like the fact that the vocal delivery and the lack of emotion tie into the overall direction of the album, of him being kind of internally driven to be a little bit more sad because of this lack of fulfillment, because he's gotten all his fulfillment through material. But I think it's that same lack of emotion that keeps me from connecting to Nav as an artist. He's not really making me feel very empathetic or sympathetic because he's not giving me anything to work with as far as his emotional delivery. Like, his vocal delivery is so flat and bare and start and stop. it just doesn't hit. Like I said earlier, that lack of duality really makes this project take a nosedive. I mean, that lack of emotion makes him feel like the male equivalent of Amazon Echo. And the listening experience just feels so long and dragged out at certain moments. I swear, Never Change came on, I went out to go grocery shopping, came back, and that shit was still playing. It just convinces me that Nav's audience is the same group of people that think because people don't like you that they automatically makes them haters. It's just boring, emotionless trap rap that plays off the concept of an artist who's been in a better moral position that never explores that morality before he reached fame and continues to talk about materialistic things because he knows it's gonna pop on the charts maybe. I don't know. But this thing isn't for me. I know that. So if you enjoy it, keep listening. Nav, Reckless. It's been Shawn C. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Also, for you asking me about the Lil Uzi Vert feature and the Gunna feature and the Quavo feature. Boring. Being honest. See you next time. I'm out.